Hi, my name's Neil Hilborn. I live in St. Paul, Minnesota. I've lived there for the past 7 years. I grew up in Houston, Texas. So I've been writing ever since I was a little kid, but I started doing spoken word poetry about 7 years ago. And my writing, I always feel like I have two different writing processes, right? Like half the time, I like. The poem just comes to me. It's normally about 4 in the morning, and I can always feel it coming to me in my dream. You know what I mean? Like it's almost as though like if in the dream I'm in a huge field, I can hear it coming in over the hills. You know, so that's one kind of poem, and like that's the sort of thing where I just have to do it. I have to get it out, or else I'm gonna die. You know. And then the other process is like because that inspiration doesn't come all the time. You know, that inspiration comes whenever it wants to come, whenever your brain makes it happen. So the other thing I've tried to do is just write every single day. Like I write something down, even if it sucks, even if it's like the worst thing that I've ever written, I write it just to get it out of my head, because like I have to get through those cliches and I have to get through that unimportant stuff to get to the gold. You know what I mean? So you have to write a lot of garbage before you can get to that really gold stuff. So my inspiration as far as writing goes is like, again, it's like twofold. Like sometimes I read a lot. I read, nonstop. It's like most of what I do with myself when I'm not here performing or like actively traveling somewhere. And so often like I get inspired by just reading a poem and figuring out how it works, you know, and like literally figuring out like, okay, how is this poem constructed? How is it actually doing the work? And so from there, I try to like write, literally I just try to imitate it and like see if I can then take that structure and do something new with it. I don't know, my philosophy on writing is always just like, don't beat yourself up. Like, I spent so long being like, oh, this poem's trash, I'm the absolute worst, I can't write for you know what I mean? Oh, I'm sorry, I swore. I'm absolute trash, I can't write, you know? And that's just not productive. Like one of the absolute best things I ever did for myself as a writer was just forgive myself for not being perfect all the time. Because, and like, I especially, like most of my first drafts are total garbage. Like, I'll write a whole first draft, cut everything but 3 lines, rewrite the poem, keep another 3 lines, then rewrite the poem, right? And so if I got down on myself for all that stuff that I cut out of my poems, I'd never keep writing. So yeah, I just read a ton and I forgive myself when I'm not as good as that stuff that I'm reading. You know, I love it here. This is my first show ever in California, and the whole crowd was just so hot and just so much fun and just so present and listening, and they like wanted to hear poetry. And it's, you know, that's becoming so much less rare. It used to be like, oh my God, there were 100 people in a room that all wanted to listen to poems. This never happens, and now like. This happens to me like on a weekly basis. Like there are always rooms where a ton of people all want to get together and just listen to poems, like listen to art. Oh my God. So I guess my closing statement is like, what an amazing time we live in, that everybody really wants to listen to art and create their own art and get in front of each other and talk about it, you know? So, I mean, thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me be a part of that.